Welcome back to That Dad Guy. So here we are once again answering your questions that you have from the week before. There's a few different topics that we're going to cover, which is great. And we'll get started here in a minute. Update outside. It's still raining. It's about 4 degrees. That's what the high is going to be today. So there's a little bit of snow in the front and a little bit in the back. So fingers crossed it will be gone by tomorrow. I want to see flowers popping up. I see people posting pictures of their crocuses. I know my neighbors next door have crocuses up. I'm waiting for tulips to start. Any sign of spring into summer is what I want to see. So hopefully it comes soon. So thanks so much for your comments. I'll get to them here in a second. And thanks so much for subscribing, liking, and commenting. If you are still interested in the Ukrainian stamp project and you have a source of Ukrainian stamps, send me an email at robertlennox@gmail.com and I'll send you an address that you can send those stamps on to. I'm looking for something. Hopefully I can get something in so I can get a video out next week. And who knows? But thanks for your help and your support. Watching, even if you're not sending. And for those of you who are sending, thank you so much for that to help make things possible. What else do we have going on? Tomorrow, I've got some cards I've got to write. I've got a couple more official ones that have reached their destinations, even though I haven't gotten an official one in, I think, a couple weeks now. I'm glad that a few of mine are reaching their destinations, so I can write a few more. And I do have some return swaps to write up, so I'll have that video to go tomorrow. And then I have a video on stamps that were sent from the United States, from Linda in Georgia. That's going to come out this week, so that might be the stamp video this week in case, instead of a Ukrainian one, if nothing shows up. So there will be something there. So there's always going to be something to watch. But you didn't tune in for that today. You tuned in for what's going on today on Saturday with That Dad Guy Answers. So let's get to the first question. It's from the Littlest Hobo, which is Allie in St. Stephen, New Brunswick. And she says, what's the best thing about your job? I think the best thing about my job is that I work at my own pace. So I get to go in early in the morning, I sort my mail, and then I'm out on the road. When I'm sorting my mail, I have interactions with my coworkers at that point, but other than that, I'm just out on the road doing my own thing, delivering the mail, the parcels. Before COVID, I was getting to see customers and interactions with them. Not so much the last couple of years, because that's limited. But yeah, it gives me lots of freedom that I can get my work done in a pretty good time, and then the rest of the day is mine to do things like my videos that are out there, or housework that needs to get done, or taking care of kids' activities and paying bills and all the other fun things that come with having the day. But when you start early in the morning and you're done at a decent time, it gives you that many more hours to do all the things you want to do and need to do. So that is the best thing about my job. It is relatively stress-free, and I get to work at my own pace. All right, so thank you, Allie, for that. The next question comes from Eric, my brother in Toronto, Canada, and he says, do you chart all the places you receive postcards? And do you chart all the places you send your postcards in a spreadsheet or on a map? Do you keep a direct swap cards separate from the Postcrossing cards? So, first of all, do I chart them? I don't chart them, where they come from and where they're going to. I have them in a binder based on how I receive them, so I keep them that way. So I have a Postcrossing binder. These are the official ones. That's my first 1 to 100. I started a new binder for the next one. And then I have a binder like this of all the cards that I've gotten that aren't official ones. So whether it is a swap or a trade, or just someone who's been nice enough to send me cards and doesn't expect anything in return. I have a few people like that send me lots of cards. So they all go into that big binder, and when that's full, I'll start another one. But I have been thinking about my 1-year anniversary with Postcrossing, which is the 22nd of April. I want to do a video up for that. So for that, I might go back in and see how many cards I've gotten from what countries, and you know, just do averages of where things have been going. So I don't know if I'll do how many I've sent off to, but I will do ones from where they've come in. We'll see. We'll see how the video goes anyways. I have kept all the IDs from the people that I've sent things off to officially. So I do have that, and I do have a spreadsheet of all the swaps that I do because I want to know what kind of cards that I've been sending to people, so I'm not hopefully duplicating. So that's the only organization that I do have, is that I keep track of the ones that I send out, so I know what kind of cards people have been getting. So yeah, so thanks, Eric. The next one is from Yulia in Russia, and she's asking about April Fool's, which was yesterday, if you're watching this in real time anyways. Today is April the 2nd for filming, 2022. So on April 1st, we call it April Fool's Day, and she said, I thought I'd ask you a question about April Fools. Do people play tricks on each other on this day, like putting mayonnaise into your family's toothpaste tube? Do you remember any funny tricks or jokes connected with this day? Yeah, some people do play tricks. I don't tend to do too many of them. I did some pranks when I was at camp in the summer, but it had nothing to do with April Fool's. It was just being silly and pranking other kids or staff members and things like that. Yesterday, the only prank that I really remember seeing, I mean there was official Lego site put out a video saying that they were making a life-size Lego figure that was going to be for sale. It was an April Fool's joke. I think pretty much everybody knew it was an April Fool's joke, even though Lego people really said, if you make it, we're going to buy it anyways. So there was that one that came out. There was an interesting story of the university that I went to, Mount Allison University in Sackville, New Brunswick, where I finished my degree. And in the 1940s, in the evening, the kids went and stole the dean's cars. So there was 2 cars, and at the university we have what's called the Swan Pond that has a little island in the middle of it. So they were in the middle of tearing down a local arena, so they took some of the beams from that arena and they built a makeshift bridge and put the cars on the island and took away the beams. And so when the dean woke up in the morning, she found that both her cars were, or her car and someone else's, one staff member's car, were on this island, and they couldn't get it off. The pond isn't very deep, so you could wade across it, but it was too deep to drive the cars back off. So it took them a couple days for staff members to actually go and engineer a bridge that the students managed to do in the middle of the night. So I thought that was a funny prank to do. Sort of pranks that we did at camp were, putting cellophane or saran wrap over a toilet or a urinal. So when you go to the bathroom, it sprays back at you. There's one of those type of pranks. Or when you're in the shower, throwing a cold bucket of water on someone, or flushing all the toilets at the same time so the water is scalding hot. Things like that nature get done. I know Basil in India had April Fool's jokes. He sent them on Instagram. I was hoping he was going to put them on this. So I can't really remember all of them. He asked, do you ever do any pranks that make people mad or sad or cry? No, I didn't do any of those sort of things. And I don't think those are pranks. When you get to the point where you're upsetting someone, it's not funny. It's just bullying. So no, I've never had anything go that far. And yeah. Those are kind of the things that happen. I think that April Fool's things tend to happen more when you're younger and you do pranks. Pranking adults, I don't know, there's not a lot. I don't know if we're losing some of our sense of humor as we get older. There might be a bit of that. Or our feelings get hurt more if we feel like we're being isolated and other people are laughing at us. No one likes that. I'm trying to think of another prank. Well, I can, in my... not earlier working, about 15 years ago probably, I'd say, before I worked at Canada Post, I worked as a financial advisor, and I went out on a call to someone's home, and the children were sick and runny nose, and they were eating these cheese balls, which are just kind of puff balls, or like a chip, mostly air with a fake cheese flavoring to them, and it was offering them to us while we were there. I was like, no, we don't really want them, you're sick. So what I did, it really grossed out my manager who was with me at the time. And so what me and one of my co-workers did was we bought a whole bunch of them and we put them all in his office one April Fool's Day. So that's the only April Fool's joke that I know that I did do at one point in time, and he thought it was funny. So that was good. So let's move on. So thank you, Yulia, for the April Fool's ones. What else we have? Okay, we have from Kristen in Sweden. She says, a question for Postcrossing. If you have expired cards, do you contact the recipient or just keep waiting it out? Or are you like me and tempted to send another card just to get the numbers up on your sent cards. No, if I have expired cards, I just let them go until they're expired. I only send one card out. If it doesn't reach its destination, I hope one day it will, but if it doesn't reach it, I'm sorry for that. I'm not going to keep sending out cards because maybe they are reaching their destination. Maybe there are people that joined Postcrossing and never logged off of it when they were no longer interested, and they're just getting the cards and then not doing anything with them. So one card is all you get for one code. That's kind of my mentality. I have reached out to someone before to see if they did get the card and just forgot to register it. I've had that before, but right now I think I've got 6 or so that are all showing expired, all to they're either all to Russia and China. There might be one to Austria in there, but I think that's mainly to do with the time frame it takes to get to China for some, and the mail being stopped going to Russia right now. So that's unfortunate, but it does happen. But I only send the one card. She does have another question. She says, regarding maple syrup again, does anyone in Canada use the fake stuff? When you mean the fake stuff, you mean Aunt Jemima. Well, it's not called Aunt Jemima's anymore, so you can see that this brand has been rebranded, I guess. I think it's called Mill Factory or something to that effect. This is an older bottle, so it's got the Aunt Jemima picture and name and logo on it. But, and this is what you would call the real stuff. This is Canadian maple syrup. So in my household, everyone uses this except for me. I use the fake stuff. I don't know, I was raised with the fake stuff for the most part, and I find this way too sweet. I don't mind when we go to the maple sugar woods and we use the sticks on the snow and eat the candy that way, and a little bit of the maple butter I would use, but everything else I find very, very sweet. So I used to have a sweet tooth. I don't as much now. I'll have some chocolate from time to time, but I want to mix it up with salty chips or something if I'm snacking. So yeah, so in this household, 3 of us use the real stuff, and I use this. And she says in Sweden, she buys real Canadian maple syrup. She makes American pancakes and puts Swedish blueberries and whipped cream when she wants to treat her friends, which is very nice. Sounds like a great treat, and mixes a whole bunch of different nationalities. I don't know what American pancakes are different than Canadian pancakes, but I guess maybe that's just your recipe for you doing it. But I'm sure that they're very similar, and I'm sure Swedish blueberries are very similar to North American blueberries, but it does sound like a great treat, that's for sure. And I think that may be the last question. So today we've got maple syrup questions, we've got a Canada Post question, we had April Fool's questions, and we had some Postcrossing sorting questions, so that's great. Next week, what are you going to have? What questions do you have for me? What topics do you want to cover? There are lots of things going on, and lots of things that happened in my life. So if you want to ask questions, and I'll answer them next week. This was part 9, so for part 10, wow, what questions are we going to have? Till then, watch videos, enjoy life, write postcards, collect stamps, do what makes you happy, and get energetic. If it's spring and summer where you are in the weather department, get outside, enjoy what nature has to offer, and go meet some friends and hang out. It's been too long since we've been all cooped up, so get a chance to socialize and enjoy life. Till next time, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?